I received a message, let's see, 2 days ago that I have been pwned. So this video is I'm going to investigate what that means and what I need to do about it. To explain what I mean, I'll just go show you the email. So I got this message here. Have I been pwned? You're one of 1,906,808 people pwned in the Pixlr data breach. So when I click on that and look at the email closer, I've got their logo. You've been pwned. The correct pronunciation for that is pwned. It looks like pawn to me, but pwned is the right way to say it. You signed up for notifications when your account was pwned in a data breach, and unfortunately it's happened. Here's what's known about the breach. I read that wrong, didn't I? You signed up for notifications. Oh, okay. For notifications when your account was pwned. All right. Email address found. That's my email address. Don't try to email me there because I only open emails from that address from people that I know. Later in this video, I'll give you an email that you can contact me if you want to contact me in relation to my YouTube content. The breach was Pixlr, and the date, October 7th, 2020, the number of accounts, compromised data, email addresses, geographic locations, names, passwords, social media profiles. So that type of information regarding me was revealed. In October 2020, the online photo editing application Pixlr suffered a data breach, exposing 1.9 million people impacted. Data included names, email addresses, social media profiles, the country signed up from, and passwords stored as SHA-512 hashes. The data was provided to HIBP by dehashed. So that gives some information here about protecting yourself, and got a button here for checking your email address again. Now let's see, you know what, maybe I'll go ahead and click on that because there may be other, 9 data breaches that my email account has been pwned. Apollo, this data enrichment exposure, GlowFox, LinkedIn, MySpace, Pixlr, River City Media, Spam, and verifications.io. Now, a couple of those I recognize, a few of those I recognize, but more than half of them I do not recognize as things that I've ever had an account on, but some of those are supporting web services where I might sign up on one website, but somebody else connected with that website gets breached and my data gets released. So all 9 of those, this is clearly documenting that all 9 of those include my email address in the breached information. So I've already seen this before, and I have dealt with it, taken the appropriate steps. And the appropriate steps and measures are to have complex passwords on all of your accounts and have different passwords on each account. And even if you are pwned, meaning your data, somebody gets breached in a way that your data becomes accessible to criminals on the dark web, that may not be of a big worry. It's going to happen. It's normal. It's commonplace. The thing that is important is, are you taking proper security measures to where that incident is not going to have a big impact on you? Now, in the case, for instance, of Adobe, if I just got a new information that Adobe's been hacked, then I would want to go change my password on Adobe And as long as I'm not using that same password on other accounts, I'm fine. The big problem comes into play when you have used the same password as you used on that site on other sites. Because what the criminals on the dark web will do is they will take the information about your email address and the password that you used on one particular site, and then they'll use computer programs to try that username and password combination on other websites to try to get into your bank or your email account or whatever, Amazon account, anything that they can make use of. So this Pixlr account that was accessed in this breach is not a big concern to me. So let me go to this, let's see, PIXLR, is that what it was? I'll go to that website, PIXLR.com. Click into that. And it's basically an online photo editor. I'm sorry, I had you on the wrong screen at that point. Pixlr is a photo editor where you, for free, can edit photos. They can do things like take out the background behind people or manipulate photos in ways that may be of use to you. So I had an account on this website. So the action that I took when I got this notice is I went to figure out, okay, well, what password did I use on Pixlr's website is what I wanted to find out. So I went to my contact list and I searched for PIXLR and press enter. And I find one entry and it's from Bitwise. Well, Bitwise is a company that conducts courses in computer topics. I'm going to click into this. I'm going to blur the screen just before I click into it to be sure I don't have something revealing there that I should not give out. No, there really isn't anything there. So this gives the information about Bitwise. I took a couple courses from them. I got some people's names in them. I do not have any account credentials for Pixlr, but I do have a note down here that Pixlr, I utilized that service in connection with that class, but I don't have any password there. Okay, so then the next thing I'll do is go over to LastPass, which is my password manager, and type PIXLR, and there's no matching results. So LastPass doesn't have any account credentials for Pixlr. So then next thing is I'll come over here to my Google browser settings, this gear icon here. And actually that's not where I want to go. Let's go to a new tab. Yeah, up here, this kebab menu, this 3-dot menu, looks like a shish kebab. Click on that. Come down to settings. That's the settings I wanted to get to. And then come down here to passwords. And I'm going to blur the screen before going into that. And yeah, I think this is okay to show. So I want to see if there's a Pixlr in here. And here you just see the first few things that are just actually kind of nonsense. So I want to find out if Pixlr is in here. So I'm going to type PIXLR in the search passwords field. As soon as I start typing, the list of credentials down here narrows down to that. So I knew as soon as I typed the letter P, it was going to display all the P's. And I blurred the screen because I knew that that might show up some information that I shouldn't be displaying on YouTube. Now, I'm in the passwords section of Google Chrome, but you saw me go into LastPass. LastPass is my password manager but I still have some residual information in Chrome, and I need to take the next step of deleting all that and closing that out because I don't rely on that. Those passwords are all obsolete, and it's just misleading to have it there. But if the bad guys were to gain access to that, well, they're going to get bad information anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But there's no account credentials in there for Pixlr. So what in the world did I do for Pixlr? So then the next thing that I did was I figured that I must have had credentials for that somewhere else, and I remember that I had made some notes for that course. So let's see how to find that. Yeah. So I'm trying to recollect where I went. So here I open File Explorer. Actually, a better way to demonstrate this. Let's close that guy. And then come down here to this search field for Windows 10. And what I'm going to do is type bitwise, because I think what I did is I created a document for that course. So typing that much, I see right here, documents, bitwise bootcamp 1 notes. That's where I think I have that credentials for Pixlr. So I'm going to click on that. Let that document open up, and I expect to see what I did there for credentials. Yes, there it is. So these are my notes. So one of the sites that I used for that course was this wc9.io, and I made a note to myself. The username was DougBetts, and this was the password. Now this password is coded. That is not the actual password, but that's enough to give me a hint at what I used for the password on that. And it was what I consider a low security password that I use for accounts that I really don't consider to be of much risk level. So I do have that same password on some of those types of accounts, but they are never accounts that I actually care about or have contain any value. And then I look down here and I see Pixlr.com editor login with Google account. So what I did on that site is when I log into it, I click on a button that says use Google account, which means Pixlr never got my password. They never had a store of my password. And that's enough for me to let go of this, meaning I don't care that Pixlr got breached. Now, when we looked at the things that were revealed with this breach, one of the things that it said was my social media accounts had been breached. So here, come back to that. Pixlr in October 2020, compromised data, email addresses. So my email address was recorded with them because it was used as my username. Geographic locations, so it probably also revealed that my email address is located in Fresno, California. That's not a huge cost for that information to be revealed. It's kind of easy to find that information. Names, so my first and last name was revealed. Password. Well, in my case, the password was not revealed because Pixlr never had a password for me. And social media profiles. So since I logged in with my Google account, they would have had the name of, they would have had the name of my Google account, which is still that email address. So not a big concern. However, since I have been pwned in the past, see there I go, I said pwned. The word is pwned, not pond. I have been pwned in the past, and it's very commonplace that people have been pwned because there's just been so many breaches. The proper action to take is to have unique passwords on each account, each website that you have an account on. So your bank account, your Amazon account, your Google account, your Facebook account, all these accounts need to have unique passwords, complex passwords. So how are you going to manage that? Well, password managers, there's lots of password managers available. I'm not creating this video to review different password managers. Doesn't really matter so much which one you use. Even if you use the password manager in your browser, Google Chrome has made improvements in its password management capabilities. So you would be fine for most people using that, as long as you're using two-factor authentication, you're using a complex password for your Google account, for your Google Chrome account, and unique password for it, and change those passwords when you have cause to believe that you have been exposed. You'd be okay to do that. There's other password managers. LastPass is the one that I use. 1Password, I think, is another one that's very high in the popularity. And I'm not going to try to review them all because I'm not prepared to do that. It's not that big of a deal which one you choose, but it makes it a whole lot easier to be able to keep unique passwords. At this point, I have a lot of accounts that I have passwords that are so complex that I don't know how to. I wouldn't be able to remember them if I tried. I could change the passwords to be more memorable. And if you need to have a password that you can remember or write down somewhere, then what I suggest using is use a phrase that doesn't obviously look like a password. Long passwords that don't have a lot of weird characters, and it can look like a sentence. Could have capital, could have lowercase, needs to have numbers, could have some kind of symbol. But if you construct one that doesn't obviously look like a password, when you write it down on your notes or on your contact card, put spaces between, maybe substitute some characters the way that I did so it's not too obvious. Long passwords are extremely beneficial in their ability to prevent a computer from brute forcing your password. I'm suspecting, I haven't recently looked at the statistics, that most password violations occur by virtue of breaches. So complex password isn't going to help you there. If an account is breached that was using your complex password, well, that's out there. But a computer that's trying to brute force your password by trying all possible combinations, they're going to have a very, very difficult time because of the length of your password and using at least one capital, at least one lowercase, at least one letter, and preferably a symbol. But you can structure that in such a way that it's not so hard for you to look at your clue and go, oh yeah, that's what it is, and you can remember it and type it out because it's easy to type some words. You just don't hit the space bar between the words. All right, so that's about all that I can say about this pwning incident. Oh, I guess if you want to be notified when your email address shows up in a data breach so that you can check it out and take action on it, the way you can do that is just go to this website, Have I Been Pwned. Now, if you misspell that somehow, you're probably going to be fine and still get the search. Now, I put spaces there. And that's going to make this do an actual Google search instead of going straight to the website like I did earlier. But here I hit the enter key, and right here at the top, haveibeenpwned.com. That is the site. So you click on that, and you can put in your email address. You don't even have to create an account with them. You can, in fact, I checked on an email address that was not my own earlier today. Well, it's in another video that I did earlier today. The one where the Fresno County Office of Education had sent me a scam email this morning. And so I checked Fresno CO at Comcast.net. That's what it was. So I received a scam email from them, and I wanted to check and see if their email had been pwned. And yes, it did. There were 10 data breaches for that email address. Well, that email address is a very, very old address. It's not used by anybody in the organization anymore, and I'm sure it's just been forgotten. So anyway, you can check your own address, but that doesn't send you an email if your email address shows up as having been pwned. So what you have to do that is up here on the top, there's this button that says notify me. Click on that, enter your email address, do this check mark, notify me of pwnage. And there isn't any there is no account to even create on here. It's a service being provided. Now here's this, start using 1password.com. So one of the ways that they earn money to pay for their work on this is that they have a link here for 1password.com. Most likely they make a commission if you actually buy a subscription from 1password.com. Now most of the password managers have a free version and a paid version. So you can get into the free version without having to pay for it. And if you want the advanced features for the paid version, then you go ahead and do that. All right, so I think that's enough. Did I say enough? Yeah, because I wanted to include that part about how you get notified. So this is not the typical thing that I intend to be doing on my YouTube channel. I'm doing some tutorial videos just while I'm trying to get my YouTube channel off the ground. The real purpose of my YouTube channel is to provide free computer support to people over the internet by using YouTube and Zoom, and possibly other methods too, but mostly it's going to be YouTube and Zoom, I believe, where I can work face to face with you, help you through with any computer issue you have, whether it's to fix a problem that you're having or teach you something. But we're recording that so that it becomes a YouTube video. Once it's available as a YouTube video, people can watch it, and when people watch videos, the content creators can get paid by the advertisers who put their advertising on. So it's just a way I figured that I can start providing my services online and make my services available to people at no cost to you, but no cash cost. It is a cost because you're going to be on a video. So if you'd like to do that with me, the way to do it is send an email to me, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com. Now you saw my other email address before, and I told you don't try to contact me through that because I'm probably not going to open your email if I don't recognize who you are. But when you send email to this address, I will open that and be able to respond to you. So in that email, just give me an idea what you want help with, and we'll put it together. So I hope this was useful to you. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.